Well, hello, football fans, and welcome to this edition of the Billy Skinner Lamar Viking Football Coaches Show. I'm Bill Frawley, and with me, of course, is head Viking football coach Billy Skinner. Coach, how are you today?
I'm doing great. It's been a while, so I'm hoping this is like riding a bike. We're gonna find out.
It is, believe me. Just pedal at the comfortable pace, okay?
There we go.
Don't forget the brakes if you need them. Well, yeah, it has been a while, and I'll take the blame. It was my schedule, I think, that prevented us from doing one closer to the end of the season. But speaking of the season, let's recap a little bit. There were some highs, lows, some great things, lessons learned. But there was definitely some successes on and off the field. Uh, Player development, academic wise, a lot of things. Why don't you just kind of fill us in how you would like to? You may be repeating some things you said at the football banquet. That's okay.
No doubt. No, it was again, we got to talk a little bit about the year, and there was some disappointment. Anytime you don't make it to the tournament and into the playoffs, that's one of those things that you look back on as a disappointment. But to see the improvement from year one to year two for us, and we won an extra game, which is great. Not the number one goal that we have here, but it's always nice to see improvement in that facet. But I would tell you one of the biggest things we are really, really proud of here is our GPA as a team went from a 2.1 to a 3.1, which that would be a remarkable jump. We went from a 3.1 to a 3.4 this year for a total team GPA. There were times when I'd talk to our guys and think, man, this thing we're doing on Wednesday, maybe it's a little too outside the box, but to see that it's working, and us walking our kids to the classes and those kind of things on Wednesdays, to see that it's actually having an impact on the overall team GPA, that was a huge win for us. That was something we were really excited about. Other things we touched on, we talked about the history that was made this year with Isabella Mickelson being the first female to letter, being the first female to score a point for the Lamar Vikings. And that was a really, really big deal for us. And then just had an opportunity to celebrate our seniors, which this is a group that I got to see them before I left to go to MacArthur. They were freshmen when I was here my last year. And so it was special to celebrate those guys and celebrate their accomplishments.
Definitely so. When you were talking about a 2.1, it reminded me of a couple of my college semesters where the thing was 2-0 and go. But,
no doubt about it.
That's amazing. Number one, I would say that to begin with, the GPA for the team was 3.1. Then you increased it up to 3.4. I know a lot of that has to do with offering study hall and some tutoring or whatever, but a thought comes into my mind about that. It's like you can take a horse to water, but you can't make the horse drink.
Right.
You can set up opportunities for student athletes to increase their grade point, learn better, whatever. What made them want to do better, do you think?
I think the emphasis from us was a big piece, but we had guys like Damian Sanchez who historically struggled academically, and he showed that, hey, if I can do it, anyone can do it. And he would take that role as a mentor for kiddos that kind of struggled like he did, and to have somebody to point to say, hey, this isn't the end all be all. We've got a kid named Corey Wilson here who I've talked about before on the podcast, where he struggled his freshman year, and now he was about 2 or 3 points away from being academic all Vikings for the 4 to 6 weeks. And the first thing he said was, man, I'm going to get that. I'm going to be that for this next 6 weeks. And so create a little bit of a competitive culture, pinpoint kids that have struggled, pinpoint them, and not try to embarrass them or anything like that, but put them around people who have had similar struggles and try to build them up in that way. I think that's been a big thing for us, is the emphasis that the coaches have put on it, but finding those that have had the struggles and have shown that, hey, this works if you actually buy into it. That's been huge for us.
Well, it sounds like the peer, it's not peer pressure, but the peer support, peer encouragement, that seems to go a long ways in making it cool
right
to learn and to advance your academics.
And the other kids speak the language way cooler than we do. So, just hearing it from somebody that you're closer in age with, sometimes that's what
Sure.
goes.
Well, congratulations to you and the coaching staff for developing those peer leaders in the academics as well as the athletic part of it. So that's important. The football banquet happened. I was glad to be there. Jay Ryan, Tony Zimmerman, who's been helping us with our Friday night and Thursday night, broadcast productions, announcing all that stuff. We're able to be there. Also, some others weren't able to, but we appreciated the opportunity to be there. That room was full, Coach, and and not only was it full, there was some energy in there. The players, the parents, people that don't have kids in the program. Tell me what that does.
It's so encouraging for our kids to see that no matter what they do, whether they're on the field, whether they're at their bank, there are people that are so excited to cheer for them. There are people who are so excited to want to see them have success. And so, like you said, the energy there was incredible, and it was easy to feed off of. So I was just excited for our kids that they had, especially those seniors, they had one more opportunity to be celebrated and one more opportunity for their folks to come and encourage them and see them as Lamar Viking football players. So I was thrilled to death to see and feel the energy.
Speaking of feeding off, there's some good food there too, provided by one of the big Booster Club supporters.
That's right. I'm telling you, it was so good. My daughter, I think, we ended up counting. I think she had 27 meatballs or something like that. So she kept sneaking them off my plate. I think I only got 5 of them. So
Big Apple Cafe, correct?
That's right. Yes. Joe Gallant at Big Apple Cafe always does a great job of taking care of us. So, and he did it again.
And just an unsolicited plug, be sure, folks, go out there, support that restaurant, and tell them when you're there, please tell them thank you for supporting Lamar Viking football, because they need to know that it's recognized and appreciated. So, but yeah, and Coach, one of the things that stood out to me also, when y'all would call out the awards, recognize student athletes on that evening, when they come up to get their award, some of them doing the handshake, bro hug combo, the bro hug, whatever. But there's a lot of connection between the players and the coaches, all the coaching staff. And I think that says a lot about the program you're developing. And you used the term a few minutes or a minute ago, whatever, buying into the program. And that's happening.
Right. Well, and that's for our coaches, that's a non-negotiable. We're going to spend a lot of time here. We're going to pour a lot into these guys, and you can only lead somebody as far as they trust you. You can only lead somebody as far as they know they love that they're loved by you. And so I tell our coaches all the time, like we've got to make sure we're doing things to earn our kids' trust. We're doing things to show our kids that we love them. And hopefully that showed at the banquet, and hopefully our kids see that and feel that every day. I know sometimes they don't like us because a huge part of love is accountability, and we don't play when it comes to that accountability piece. But at the end of the day, I think our kids know that we would do anything to help them succeed, and that we love them dearly. I mean, they are an extension of our families.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of those awards, there were, of course, a lot of awards handed out, and some of them, there's guys, and I know this from doing the broadcasting or announcing, there's a lot of guys that get their names called, quarterbacks, running backs. We try to show some love to the line, and the defenders. Right. And then there's those kind of unsung hero type awards. The guys, like on the scout team and other things, that they don't get their name called out as much. And kind of, would you just reemphasize how important those players playing those roles that don't get the spotlight are?
No doubt. No, they are the heartbeat of a football team, and our scout team guys this year, the ones that we got to recognize. So on the offensive side, Seven Oakletree and Trey Keith, those were 2 guys that they both played quarterback. They both played receiver. They both played running back. There were times I'd look up and Seven, who's probably about 140 pounds, was lining up as a tackle because he wanted to make sure he was doing everything he could, whatever his part was, to make sure our defense had success. And then on the flip side, we had Ryan Boye as a defensive scout team player of the year. And again, he's one that he plays inside linebacker, but he would line up on the defensive line, or he'd play back at corner, whatever was needed, so that our kids on the varsity and our offense and defense, they can have the best look possible. Like that's huge. And that's very, it's humbling. And at the same time, it's one of those things that you can get yourself better. And that was one of my favorite things about Ryan, is that he used it as an opportunity to get extra reps. He used it as an opportunity to see our fastest, strongest kids and use techniques that he was coached up on by Coach Harris. So those are huge awards for us. The other ones are the Glue Award, and that's an award for kids that don't necessarily have the biggest role on the team, but somehow they stick around with us, and then they stick and keep our team together. A kid like Deshaun Wells, who hurt his knee halfway through the season, and as a senior could have very easily decided, hey, I'm just going to kind of mail it in. And he didn't. I mean, he would show up every single day at practice, and Coach Hu could work with one part of the defensive line, and you could look down there and you could see Deshaun Wells having the others a group on the sleds and doing those things. I mean, so very selfless. Kids like Jermaine LeBlanc, who started his career as a corner and a running back and has bounced around to safety. And this year we said, hey man, you want to try playing outside linebacker? And little apprehensive, but he's like, if it gives me an opportunity to play, absolutely. And so he goes, and by the end of the year, we're looking at each other like, man, we got to find a way to get Jermaine on the field more, because he was very productive at it, but he kept working at it, and he didn't stray away. He didn't quit whenever it got hard. He stuck like glue. And so that was really exciting for us this year. And then the other one that we were really, really proud of, it's a new award that we presented, and we named it after Jim Pointer, who is our 7-on-7 coach. And you talk about, and you think about service, and you think about somebody who gives of themselves without asking anything in return. And he's one of the first people to come to mind. I mean, he was doing 7-on-7 in 2001 when I first started playing 7-on-7, so he's been doing it over 20 years. And just how he's poured into people, into our kids, into myself, when I was a player and as a coach. We created the Jim Pointer Heart of Service Award. And so that went to two of our athletes that no matter what we asked them to do, no matter what it was, they were always looking for extra ways to serve. And so Jad Darkazali was a kid that was honored with that award. We went and helped the North Arlington Trojans football team, and we were all done. And Jad was like, no, I'm going to stick around. And he kept some of his teammates there just to finish out practice and hang out with the kids for the rest of the time. And that was really, really neat. And then Devin Ravel, he's one that, again, anytime there's an opportunity for service, he's one of the people there. And he's also on the side working to raise funds and awareness for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. And so, just people giving of themselves. And it's awesome to have an opportunity to celebrate those wins and celebrate those deals, because those are huge for us.
Definitely so. And, you talk quite a bit about developing the players, not just on the field, but for life. Some of them are going to play at the next level, maybe the next level after that, some this done after high school,
right.
But the life lessons are not done. Right. And what you just talked about, serving and teamwork, and even not having the limelight and doing whatever's asked, what else can I do? Someone who's worked at the same place for 30 years and another place 3 years before that, I tell you, those are skills that anyone doing a job interview is going to hear and see on a resume. So again, kudos to you and your coaching staff for developing these guys into more than, and Layton, into more
than
right. Football players. Right. I got to reset my mindset a little bit.
Oh yeah.
So, and I'm glad to do that. That's cool.
Yes. No, it's we're ecstatic to do this work.
Yeah. Well, I mentioned earlier about the football banquet, and there was just a lot of energy in there. And Coach, I could sense support from the players and the parents for you and your staff. Mm-hmm. I mean, the rousing applause at the end for you when they called your name out, and just, wanting to get pictures of the players with the coaches for their awards and other things. But you could just tell the parents are buying into the program process right. as well. And I'll say that can be challenging when you've had a couple of seasons that don't turn out the way you want them to on the win-loss record. Not trying to, beat that horse to death,
Yeah,
but
no doubt.
but it says a lot when you've got that support.
Right. No, and it means the world to me personally, and it means the world to our coaching staff, because it is a partnership, and it's hard to trust people with your kids. I know that. I've got 3 of them, and it doesn't matter where we're sending them or anything like that. You've got to earn that trust. And so the fact that we do have the support of our families, the fact that they come and they encourage and they'll send notes and they do those kind of like that, that means everything to us, and that keeps us going, and that keeps us striving to do our best for their kids, so that they know that we're going to always provide a service for them that they can be proud of.
Definitely. So, and I've got 2 sons. One just graduated college, starting his career. One's sophomore year of college, playing college baseball, and then I also have worked with youth for 33 years at churches, and then the youth coaching and scouts. And so I've seen both sides like you of what you're talking about. It takes a lot for parents to trust their kids with other adults in the coaching and the whatever it is. So definitely so. Well, speaking of the parents and the partnership and all this, because it goes beyond just parents, I mean, and caregivers. Okay.
Right.
There are people involved in the booster club that don't have students in the program anymore.
Yep.
Let's talk a little bit about the booster club and the importance and everything that goes on with that, and how important that is.
Man, it is extremely important, because we're thinking of ways that we want to serve our kids and serve our team. And a huge piece of that is anytime I have a wonky, crazy idea, the first group I go to is our booster club board. I'll shoot them a text. Hey, what do you guys think about this? And the fact that they are so receptive, and the fact that they are so helpful. And anytime we have team feeds, anytime we have these doors are open, there's normally 4 or 5 of our booster club members and booster board members there to help and serve. And so it is a huge piece of what we do here, and a huge piece of our program. So I'm forever grateful for our booster club, and I'm always wanting to grow it and always wanting to find roles. So if we have families that, hey, I don't have a ton of time, but I can do this on this day, or hey, I have a little bit more time and I definitely want to get more involved, we want you in. And I know for a fact your kids want you. It's as cheesy as it may sound, and they act like they get embarrassed when they see their parents, I see kids light up whenever they see mom or they see dad roll through those doors and come in and help. I see a sense of pride in those kids. So no matter what those kids are telling you, hey, don't come up here, they are full of it. They get excited when they see their parents here, and they get excited to show off their parents up here. So if you're interested in being a booster club member, please join. We can absolutely use you. We can absolutely find work for you.
And I'll even add in, even if you're not interested in being a booster club member, join and you'll become interested.
No doubt about it. No doubt.
Hey, a couple of things I want to do is, one, I want to highlight the Gatorade, the sports drink Powerade. We're not doing one brand promotion, but
that's right.
The sports drink push, was that successful? Did you get a lot of donations?
Oh my goodness. Yes, it was. It seemed like every time we made the call, there was another knock at the bottom of the Mac door. So awesome. Absolutely. It was incredible. I think next year I'm going to ask for Gatorades, and I'm also going to ask for peanut butter. We'll get there, but okay. That's the next one on my mind. Because
smooth and crunchy.
Say that again.
Smooth and crunchy peanut butter.
Smooth and crunchy. Mainly smooth though. The crunchy.
Okay. Good enough. Hey, another thing I want to call attention to is Jay Ryan. Jay is the voice of the Vikings on varsity Friday nights with the PA system. He's also a producer for our broadcast. That takes a lot of work. I mean, we don't all just show up on Friday. Well, some of us just show up on Friday night doing it.
Right.
No, but Jay does a lot of behind the scenes things to get the computer ready, the broadcast software. I mean, it's a real radio broadcast just going out over the internet, so anyone can hear it around the world. Literally, we've had international listeners before, but he also runs the website for the football team, and he helps with everything that's needed. And you talk about like your glue and unsung hero type thing. I just want to make sure people are aware Jay Ryan is priceless when it comes to supporting not just the football, but other, Viking athletics as well.
Absolutely. One of my favorite things about going to basketball games is I know that Jay Ryan is going to announce, and I mean he's got that silky smooth voice, and you hear it fires you up. And no, and you're exactly right. When you think about a glue guy and you think about somebody that gives and serves, he is definitely at the top of that list. And I can tell you, we are so grateful for the work that he does.
Yeah, definitely so. Well, let's switch gears a little bit into the off season. What's going to happen over the next few months?
Strength, get strong, get swole, all of those things. That's the number one thing we talked about coming out of the season is, as we went and we got to the tail end of the season, I feel like we got pushed around a little bit. I felt like we were not physically as strong as we needed to be to have opportunities to do what we wanted to do. So going into our off season, we told the kids that's the emphasis: get strong, get better on the squat, get better on the hang clean, power clean, get better on the bench. And so we're lifting 4 times a week. We are extremely blessed here. We have a guy, Sam Lackey. Coach Lackey is our strength and conditioning guru. We were able to get him from Fresno State. And so our kids are going through their first go round of his program, and we're starting to see massive gains. We were talking about Jesse Little, who played this year at 140 something pounds. And I think we found out he's put on 26 pounds. Gannon Carey's another one that's put on almost over 20 pounds. And so the emphasis for us, get strong, get strong, get strong. And then the other emphasis is facing that adversity piece. And I think that when things went bad this year, and it starts with me, I think any of the negative that happens on our team, it starts with me as a leader. And so when things get bad and we started to face adversity, I think there were times when there was cracks. There were cracks in the team. And so this offseason, we talk about putting our kids in extremely adverse situations, and their response, there's only one thing that we want to hear when we put them in an adverse situation, and that's good. We kind of employ the Jocko philosophy, and that's, no matter what's going on, find the good. If you're going through this workout and we tell you to hit your face because somebody doesn't have their shoe tie, good. That's an opportunity for us to lead our guys. And so we want to face that adversity with the good mantra. And if you come and check us out and you come watch us lift, you'll see something bad happen and you'll hear those guys yelling, good. Coach Williamson was he was on laundry duty, and he was rolling in the locker club clothes bin, and everybody the locker club kids started celebrating because they were going to have clothes to work out in. Well, then he started to pull them out just to mess with the kids, and every single one of them to a man said good, and then he rolled them back in, and then they cheered and he pulled it out and they yelled good. So for us, we want to get stronger, and then we want to get mentally stronger. We want to make sure that we're facing adversity face first and not flinching, not backing down.
Do you ever have players that develop as leaders in the weight room and say, hey guys, we got to take this seriously?
100%. I've got a kid, and he actually won our leadership award as a junior this year, Minoru Andrew, who we have something called NCAA lifts here. And so what that is Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, we want an additional lift for our kids after school. They can come up and do some auxiliary things, but it's an opportunity if they want to go play college football. Well, in college, you have to do extra. And so that's kind of why we call it the NCAA lift. It's the extra lift. Well, after the first 4 days of it, Minoru shoots me a text and is like, Coach, man, we need to talk to our team about the expectation of NCAA lift and what it is and what it isn't. And I mean, for a kid, he's texting the head coach of the program about how we can improve this thing and that's a leader in my opinion. And you see that kid work his tail off in the weight room. You see him work his tail off whenever we run. Yes, I 100% see kids really grow as leaders, especially during this time, because we want to make it hard on them. And when you do that, you see people rise, and he's one that has definitely risen as a leader.
Excellent. Well, I kind of heard that at the football banquet. I thought that was a good way to bring that back around because that's important. Again, off season, spring training during the season,
Yep.
the extra lifts, but people, again, peers saying, "Hey, let's make this count. Let's make it work right." Definitely.
Yep.
Then so spring training leads into a spring event of some sort. What's that going to look like? Do you know yet?
Yes. So we are going to, it's not necessarily spring football this year. We're going to do a lot of football things during our athletic period, but we are going to actually take that extra week in the fall. So this spring, we'll be doing 7-on-7s. We'll be doing all of those things. It's going to all kind of culminate into what we call our spring showcase. And that's where our kids will have an opportunity to go out. And I don't want to spoil it too much, but there's going to be some 7-on-7. There's going to be some big man competition. There's going to be our powder puff football. It's going to be just a big springtime celebration where everybody's got a little something to do and we've got a chance to all get together. So that's going to happen in late May. I'm going to finalize those details here in the next couple of weeks, but we've got that coming up. Really, really excited for our kids and how we're doing spring this year. You know, with spring football, one of the things you've kind of got to navigate is when you have baseball players and you've got track runners and all of those things. Well, you've got a certain portion of your team, and for us, a large portion of our team that could potentially miss a bunch of days. And well, I mean, that's not necessarily conducive to a good spring football season. So we've decided we're going to take that pressure off of our baseball kids and off of our track kids, and we're going to get a lot done during the period. And then we're going to report on July 31st and get that first full week of fall camp. And then we get an extra scrimmage, which we've already got set up with Irving Nimitz on Saturday, August 12th. I'm ready, man. A Saturday, August 12th. And so it's exciting. Yeah.
I went to Nimitz.
Awesome. Okay.
Junior high in Odessa.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I couldn't get Nimitz Junior High in Odessa on the schedule, so we're going to settle for Nimitz and Irving, which right. That's a tough crew over there. So we're excited about it.
Oh, that's great. Well, man, a lot of things to look forward to, and I like the idea of changing up what the spring showcase event looks like and trying new things. And you mentioned the multi-sport athletes, and it's so much fun on the broadcast, you know, for football. Oh yeah, Trey Keith. Oh yeah, again. Oh yeah, they're baseball players. They're baseball players also, or a basketball player. And then in baseball season coming up, oh yeah, he plays football. He plays, you know. So that's a lot of fun. I know it creates some challenges for coaching and that, and this sport, that sport, and time. But man, you could have worse challenges, couldn't you?
No doubt about it. And I'd rather have that challenge and see our kids compete at other things than you know, having them all here. And I think it's a good thing, because with the way youth sports are going and the way sports are going in general, sometimes they need a little bit of time away from this. They need a little bit of time away from the helmet and the shoulder pads and all that. So I think it's going to be very beneficial for us this year.
Excellent. Well, Coach, that's all I have on my mind right now. Anything else you want to add before we call it a podcast session, coach's show, whatever?
No, man,
we'll get together.
I've missed you. I hope you know that. I enjoy this. I've really missed you. So this is fun. I'm glad we got to get together today.
Well, let's do it again in a couple of weeks, a month, whatever. Whenever there's something new, let me know, and we'll get back together and put one of these out there, because, you know, it's amazing the number of people that will stop me, players and their parents. Oh, you're the guy that does the coaches show. Or, I love those coaches shows because he just tells it like it is, and you talking about you know, and so people appreciate it. And word is, there's some other schools that tune in and watch this stuff to learn nothing.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it.
But they, you know, what's up? So, you know.
Hey, I've had a couple of other coaches who have reached out and said, "Hey, can we have like a special guest and like I jump on the show with you?" So no, it's definitely one of those things that some people really, really enjoy. So
okay. Oh, one thing I meant to say, and not to drag it out, you got stuff to do, but how many other high schools had 2 players in the Super Bowl this year?
Can you believe that? That was awesome. That was incredible.
Yeah.
That was our second Super Bowl winner in a row. So Shane's going to get a Super Bowl ring, and that brings our total to 3 Super Bowl winners. So
That's awesome.
it's really cool. Hey, if you want to win a Super Bowl, come to Lamar.
All right, Coach. Well, until next time, I'm Bill Frawley with head Viking football coach Billy Skinner saying VFND.
VFND.